Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Today we have the full review of the Galaxy S22 Plus. I've had it for a month now. I think I have a final verdict on it, and luckily an update just came for the March security patch, and that fixed a lot of the issues I talked about in the first week review. So let's get started. Alright, so the display has been phenomenal. I mean, it's Samsung. They make the best panels out there. The panels are just so vibrant, they're so bright. And again, that thing that I talked about in the first review was that the display gets plenty bright. It goes all the way up to 1750 nits of peak brightness, which for my usage was more than adequate. And then with that near bezel-less design, it just makes for a beautiful viewing experience. I don't know what they do with their displays, but it's just magic. Moving on to probably the most comments I had about in my previous video, and that's the fingerprint sensor. A lot of people were talking, having their own solutions to this, and let me just tell you, I did all the solutions. I tried the different things, and no, it didn't fix the problem. And with the screen protector, when it comes to that, I did reset my fingerprint with the glass installed, and I had no problem with it until probably a week or so after using it. Again, the one that stirred up the most people was the fingerprint sensor. A lot of people had a lot to say about the fingerprint sensor, and I'll tell you what, it's finally fixed with the March security update. So now that I got the update, yeah, now I can press and not even hold it, and it works and unlocks every single time. And I am doing it the same way that I was doing it before. I'm telling you, it was the software, it was the fingerprint itself, because now it's fixed and now I can just do this and it unlocks. I don't have to press and hold like you guys are saying, or hit the fingerprint accurately. Sometimes I hit it off center and it still unlocks my phone. I wasn't the problem, it was the phone. So I really am liking this fingerprint sensor now with the March security update patch. It just fixed the issue that I had with it. Moving on to the build quality, this is a very well built phone. And for those of you guys who were talking about what case this was, it's not a case, this is a skin actually. As you can tell, this is a skin. So it's by D brand. You can check them out in the website. I'll link them down below. Not sponsored by them. And no, I'm not going to take it off. The build quality is wonderful. Samsung outdid themselves from the previous year. As you can see, the metal is still very shiny, very glossy, and I switched in between a lot of cases, and so that tends to scratch up the sides of the phone like it did with my previous phone. But with this one, it seems to be handling it just fine. As you can see, no scratches, so I'm really happy about that. Plus, in the hand, it feels fantastic and it feels very premium. It feels like what you paid for, and I am not disappointed by the build quality on this phone. It just feels so well built, so sturdy, and I do love it. Now moving on to the battery life. So this was my main issue with this phone. When I first got it, it was the biggest problem and probably the most noticeable. But I cannot tell you how dramatically the battery changed after a week or so. It just got so good. It went from horrible, barely not even going to last a day, to lasting me all day and into the night, which I found to be amazing. I'm going to put up some screenshots of just how crazy this battery is, but I'll give you some examples. Like right here, 6 hours and 57 minutes, and I didn't charge it at all throughout the day. 6 hours and 57 minutes. This next day, I had 6 hours and 53 minutes. This day, I had 5 hours and 24 minutes. So, along with the screenshots, you're going to see them right now. It has been stellar. The battery life, I cannot even complain about this battery. It's really rare if it doesn't hit 5 hours. I think the lowest I got was 5 hours and like 10 minutes. The maximum, I think it was 7 hours one day, 1 or 2 days. I got 7 hours out of this phone, which was insane. Screen on time, like not even usage time. Screen on time, 7 hours. And I was blown away by that, to be completely honest. So in terms of battery life, I'm not at all disappointed. Now moving on to the software side of things, it has gotten better. There's still that little bit of lag in between when you exit out of the camera, and there is shutter lag, so keep that in mind. But we'll talk more about that when we go to the camera section. The software has been fine. I do like it. It has a lot of nice features. Just last night I was using split screen and I forgot how much I love that feature, and I started using it again. So that's something that really is a perk when it comes to Android. And here you go, you have some wallpapers. This is where I get my wallpapers if you were curious. It's called Wallpics. You can find it on the Google Play Store. The stability, the smoothness of this software has been great. There are little quirks here and there that are still bothering me, but for the most part, the software is great and I really have almost no complaints. Again, the camera is really the only thing that is kind of an issue when it comes to software. It's not nearly as polished, but the app openings are nice. They're very fluid, they're easy to exit out of, they're easy to go back. Very smooth overall, a nice experience. Alright, moving to the camera. I almost have no complaints about this camera except the shutter lag. The shutter lag is my only problem, and I've seen it. I've had some people in the comments also mention that they have shutter lag and some people are returning it. So yeah, there is shutter lag and it's really annoying because you try to have quick photos and it really takes a whole second for it to capture a photo. And later if you want to be taking quick photos, it gets delayed and delayed and delayed. So keep that in mind, there is shutter lag, and that's something that's going to be a characteristic about this phone that you may not like. I still don't like it, but it's part of the phone and you kind of have to get used to it, I guess, because there's really no way of making it faster. I'm going to do my research and see if I can make it faster, but as far as I'm aware, it is what it is. Now the video, I've been actually really pleasantly surprised. It actually has some really nice quality video. Then again, it is a flagship phone, so you kind of expect that. I will be putting up some sample photos, but I will have a dedicated video for this phone in terms of cameras and things like that. So stay tuned for that one. That one's coming soon. I'm only going to put a little bit because I don't want to ruin the video that's going to be coming up in terms of photography for this phone. It's going to be a shootout. We're going to go to the beach together and you're going to see a lot of the photos that I took. Now let's move on to performance. On the performance side of things, we've seen the news of Samsung throttling the phones, and that has been an issue. In the update, they did fix it. From my perspective, they have fixed it. You are still going to have a little bit of heat. With prolonged gaming, you will have some kind of frame drops, but overall performance has actually been really pleasant on this phone. I've played games, I've edited videos, and it really blew me away how quickly it rendered a video that I recently made. The performance is great, and then addition with the screen, it just adds to that whole premium experience that you get with Samsung flagships. Overall, I'd say this phone has been fantastic, and especially with the March update, I'm telling you that fixed the majority of my gripes on this phone. And now this phone is basically, I mean, it's a really solid phone. I'd recommend it to just about anyone. If I were to rate it, I'd give it a 9 out of 10 for sure, because it's just such a solid overall well-built phone, beautiful display, great battery life, and it has great cameras, all of that. It's a complete package, and if you're not looking for the Ultra, which has like excessive things sometimes, which I'm not hating on it, I actually really want to get it, but this one is good for the average person. I think anyone who's just searching for a phone that really offers the premium experience, but you don't want to spend too much money on the phone, but you also don't want a smaller S22. This is like the perfect middle ground for most people. And yeah, so that concludes my thoughts on this phone right here. Amazing package. I really recommend it. Link will be in the description to go check it out, and go see some of the other case videos if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, peace.